Hold tight, Merfolk lovers. Today, we're diving deep into upgrading the excellent Merfolk Precon deck. Time to swap cards, unleash the Explore magic, and turn this deck into an underwater powerhouse. Let's make some waves. Ahoy there, fellow adventurers. Today, we're setting sail with the Explorers of the Deep, a deck that's all about Merfolk shenanigans in the excellent set of Magic the Gathering. Our captain for this aquatic escapade is none other than Hakbal of the Surging Soul, the big shot in charge of this underwater party. Now, brace yourself as we dive into the deck's makeup. These Explorers of the Deep live up to their name, flaunting a whopping 35 Merfolk creatures. And that's not all. There are 6 other cards strategically thrown in to give us a little extra oomph in our Merfolk endeavors. Keep an eye out for cool additions like Deep Root Waters and Path of Ancestry. They're like the secret sauce that ties everything together. But wait, we've got a meticulous 24-card focus on +1/+1 counters. This is where the magic happens, turning our fishy friends into underwater powerhouses. Kamina, Tyrant of Araska, and Zagana, Utopian Speaker, are especially stoked about this, making our Merfolk crew a force to be reckoned with beneath the waves. Now, before you start yelling "Explore, explore, explore," hold your seahorses. Despite the deck's name and Hakbal's seaworthy looks, it's not all about exploration. Hakbal's the only consistent explorer here, but fear not, he's got this cool ability that keeps the cards flowing and the lands dropping. And just in case you were worried, there are 2 other cards, giving a nod to the exploration theme. Mekanzel, Current Conductor, and Topography Tracker are like the MVPs of our underwater adventures, especially when Hakbal's calling the shots. Now that we've deciphered the deck's secrets, it's time to make some strategic tweaks. We're about to level up our aquatic game, combining Merfolk, +1/+1 counters, and a dash of exploration for good measure. Meet Hakbal of the Surging Soul, our top-notch 3/3 commander ready to lead us on a legendary maritime quest through Ixalan's untamed seas. Out of all the Merfolk commanders, this is by far my new favorite. With a modest cost of 2 colorless, green, and blue, Hakbal epitomizes the aquatic might of the Merfolk tribe, taking the helm of our seafaring adventure. What sets Hakbal apart is the explore mechanic at the heart of our strategy. As our commander dives into combat during our turn, each Merfolk under our command undergoes exploration. Picture this, revealing the top card of our library, we decide whether to snatch a land card for our hand or gift a sweet +1/+1 counter to the explorer. The card then either tops off our deck or finds its way to the graveyard. This perpetual exploration not only fuels our land drops, but also beefs up our Merfolk crew, ensuring a constant flow of resources as we navigate the uncharted waters against our rivals. Let's talk swaps. Ditching commit and memory for counterspell is a call for simplicity versus versatility. Commit and memory can stall, but its hefty mana tag slows down early game moves. Enter Counterspell, it's a no-nonsense cost-effective shutdown to any spell hitting the sweet spot for swift control in Commander's fast lane. This switch is about keeping it tight, which is crucial in today's speedy games where mana efficiency is gold. Sure, we lose Memory's Hand and Graveyard Reset, which helps if we're exploring into the graveyard a lot, but gaining solid spell countering reliability fits snug with the Merfolk vibe, quick, spot-on responses. It's a trade-off dance, juggling flexibility for pinpoint efficiency, aiming to fine-tune the deck for the cutthroat world of competitive multiplayer showdowns. So, we're shedding the extra baggage for a lean, mean counterpunching machine. Time to streamline and dominate. In our second swap, we're waving goodbye to Commander's Sphere, the 3-cost mana rock that's basically a staple in every precon from Wizards nowadays. Let's be real, it's almost always the first to get the boot, just like its buddy, Temple of the False God. Sure, Commander's Sphere does the color-fixing dance and throws in a card draw, but in a deck already drowning in card advantage like ours, it's like bringing an umbrella to a fish party, nice, but unnecessary. Now, stepping into the spotlight is Heroic Intervention. It's not just a swap, it's a strategic makeover. This bad boy is our ticket to a proactive defense, giving our Merfolk gang hexproof and indestructible like some magic force field. With commander games often feeling like a removal frenzy, heroic intervention is our ace in the sleeve, offering instant resilience without the mana rock baggage. It's time to level up, leaving the sphere behind and embracing a protection strategy that's as nimble as our Merfolk crew. The more Merfolk we keep on the field, the more we can explore. Choosing between Coralhelm Commander and Lord of Atlantis is like deciding the flavor of your fish taco. It depends on what you're craving in your Merfolk deck. Coralhelm Commander is the patient one, slowly beefing up its own power over time. It's an investment that pays off down the line, requiring some mana and turns, but delivering long-term value. Now, if you're more of a quick-hit kind of player, Lord of Atlantis is your spicy salsa. It gives an instant buff to all Merfolk, cranking up their power, toughness, and throwing an island walk for good measure. Picture it as a surprise attack or a full-on Merfolk assault. But here's the kicker, relying solely on island walk might not always land the knockout punch, depending on the matchup. Keep in mind, there are cards out there that can turn opponents' lands into islands, none of them in our precon, though. This island-altering move can spice up the effectiveness of an island walk strategy, especially if you're gunning for a more aggressive playstyle. The call here boils down to whether you fancy a slow and steady climb or crave those quick, impactful boosts. Depending on the vibe you're aiming for in different game scenarios. Choose wisely, fish commanders. Let's dive into the showdown between Thassa, God of the Sea, and Vodalian Hexcatcher for our Merfolk squad. Thassa's the steady one, offering durability, slick scrying, and a ticket to the unblockable creature party. Her scry action syncs up smoothly with our commander's exploration vibes, giving us a peek into the future draws and steering our exploration game. Now, Vodalian Hexcatcher is the wild card, bringing instant speed mischief with flash. It's our spell disruption buddy, ready to negate any non-creature spells your opponents try to play. But here's the twist, you gotta sacrifice a Merfolk to play the non-creature counterspell. Lucky for us, with the deck churning out Merfolk tokens like it's nobody's business, this cost becomes a strategic dance, giving us flexibility to unleash disruption when it counts. So, what's your flavor? Thassa's the long-term value queen, shaping our draws and making key creatures untouchable. Hexcatcher is the reusable creature version of Negate, adding a real-time twist to our game, sacrificing Merfolk for some spicy spell disruption. It's all about your playstyle, consistent, slippery threats or on-the-fly disruption in those game-changing moments. Choose your fishy weapon wisely. Now, let's talk about Zalatok, the Smiling Flood. Yeah, it's got that cool theme of turning lands into islands, teasing some island walk synergy. But here's the catch, it's a bit of a high roller with that mana cost, and the tempo is like a slow dance. Those flood counters? Well, they're like that quirky neighbor who's cool in specific situations, but not everyone's cup of tea. We recommend swapping in Forerunner of the Heralds. This guy's your versatile amigo. No fancy land transformations, just straight up tutoring for your Merfolk essentials. Imagine having your Merfolk dream team at your fingertips. Plus, every time a new fishy friend enters, Forerunner's handing out +1/+1 counters like candy, boosting the tribal vibe. In the heavyweight bout, Forerunner of the Heralds takes the crown. It's the adaptable choice, giving you consistency and a strategic edge. Sorry, Zalatok, your flood counters are cool, but Forerunner brings the real game to the table. Plus, let's be real, Zalatok isn't even part of the Merfolk clique. Stick with the fishy fam, go Forerunner, and level up that deck game. And this time, it's Curse of the Swine vs Marrow Commerce in the ring. Curse of the Swine throws a mass exile party, but hands out 2/2 boar tokens as souvenirs, not the best deal, especially in multiplayer games. Enter Marrow Commerce, our tactical shift for a consistent Merfolk pseudovigilance strategy. Marrow Commerce isn't about flashy moves, it's about enhancing that tribal synergy. By untapping all our fishy friends at our end step, it's like giving them a breather and ensuring we've got Merfolk for days, blockers, attackers, and mana buddies included. This constant untapping vibe aligns like peanut butter and jelly with our creature-centric strategy, adding a dash of depth and flexibility. And as an alternative option for Marrow commerce, consider Prophet of Crufix. It's not a merfolk, but it's a wild card. This human wizard untaps everything at every player's untap step, and it lets you flash in creatures like a merfolk magician during everyone's turn. It's another non-merfolk alternative that can shake things up. But between Curse of the Swine and Marrow commerce, the winner is clear. Marrow commerce steps up, keeping our merfolk crew untapped, streamlined, and ready to conquer. Next, we're swapping out Sage of Fables for Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. Sage likes giving its wizarding friends +1/+1 counters and removing counters for card draw. But while a lot of merfolk double as wizards, not everyone got their Hogwarts letter. This is a merfolk deck, plus it doesn't make much sense to remove counters unless you desperately need that top deck manipulation. Enter the Shattered Spire. It's not about drawing cards, it's about beefing up those counters. Every counter gets an extra kick, turning our merfolk into a force to be reckoned with. Plus, you can tap to strategically drop counters where you need them, adding a splash of adaptability to the mix. Ozolith taps into that universal tribal magic, becoming the MVP for elevating the merfolk tribal strategy. It's not about consistent card draw, it's about ramping up resilience and turning our fishy friends into powerhouse creatures. The verdict is crystal clear. Ozolith takes the stage, making our merfolk crew resilient and combat ready. Going for exploration over Boral of the Hull Clade is a straight-up choice to amp up our land game and keep that mana train chugging. Boral might doubles counters, but that with activation cost for a single target, it's not ideal. With the Explore mechanic and the deck's natural card draw, our hands can quickly get overwhelmed. Personally, I hate losing lands to the graveyard for any reason. Enter Exploration, the ramp enchantment MVP. It's the land acceleration maestro, letting us drop an extra land each turn. This isn't just about getting more real estate, it's a symphony with our commander's land-loving abilities. More lands mean quicker merfolk deployments, in perfect harmony with our deck's core strategy, quick access to fishy synergies, mana boosts, and a board that's as solid as a rock. But here's the real deal, Exploration is proactive, easing us into the mid and late game like a smooth operator. No ifs or buts, just straightforward land action. It's a no-nonsense, resource-friendly pick that aligns perfectly with our deck's emphasis on efficient land use. Choosing Exploration is like choosing the express lane, streamlined, effective, and all about that fishy synergy life. And there you have it, merfolk lovers. Hopefully you enjoyed our swap choices for Hakbal's Merfolk Precon. If you're as pumped as I am about diving into the Commander Seas, smash that subscribe button. And of course, toss your favorite merfolk cards or upgrade ideas in the comments. The sea of possibilities awaits on this epic voyage. Big thanks for joining the Merfolk party today. Until our next video, may your draws be as deep as the ocean and your victories hit like tidal waves.